What's up, guys? Welcome to the After Credits Scorecard. We're super excited that you guys are with us. Super excited that you stuck with us throughout all 6 episodes of Loki. The series is over, and if you watched it all the way through, you've got your own opinions, you've got your own ideas about how it went, what would happen, but we're going to break it all down for you guys, break down our predictions, break down how well we did with our predictions, and then discuss ranking the episodes, discuss where this show ranks with regard to the other Disney Plus series, and then also announce our winner for our Funko Pop giveaway. And somebody's going to walk away with some Loki Funko Pops, so stick around for that. Overall, I thought the series ended really well. The finale was extremely satisfying. There were some very dialogue-heavy moments throughout the whole series, including the finale, but it didn't really bother me. It wasn't very jarring because the whole series was kind of that way. There was a lot of things that had to happen, a lot of heavy lifting that needed to happen in the finale. There were some twists, there were some revelations. It was really great to see how it kind of all came to an end. Plus, it had a lot of far-reaching implications for the rest of the MCU moving forward. So as far as an overall series, I thought it went very well. The pacing, the acting was fantastic, with the exception of episode 3. The only part of the series that I really had a problem with, not only just the way that it ended, I thought that it could have been edited differently and ended with a little bit of a different cliffhanger maybe, but the fact that we didn't go anywhere, that it was kind of revealed at the beginning of the episode that there were some things that were supposed to happen, but maybe we can change them, and then we find out that, oh, we can't change them, they're always going to happen, and we're just kind of left where we started. I don't think the back and forth between Sylvie and Loki was enough to save that episode, even though it was necessary for them to have time to connect. I thought that could have been done in a bunch of different ways, and choosing to go that direction and then choosing to edit it as its own episode kind of brought the series to a screeching halt for a little bit before we get into some of the more action-packed episodes in 4, 5, and 6. So it was a low moment for me, but not enough to really kill the entire series looking back on it. But at the time, finishing that episode, I was thinking, how am I going to do a review of this episode? What were the highlights of this episode? Because it ended on such a sour note. It was really hard to get excited about the series, except to know that, well, next week, something better's got to be coming. So overall, the series ended really well. Ranking these series is going to be very difficult, so I'm curious to see what you guys think moving forward. Curious as to your comments on where you thought the series went and where each episode ranks. Having said that, let's get right into ranking the episodes. The weakest episode for me, like I just said, was episode 3, so we're going to start with episode 3. The weakest episode had some interesting color palettes, and I know for the LGBTQ community, there were some additions there that made them happy. But as far as plot and the way it fit in the rest of the series, it was a really difficult episode, and I was not pleased with it at all. After that, there's really no top 3, bottom 3. Ranking these last 5 episodes is more like ranking everything on a scale of 8 to 10 because they were all so excellent. But gonna have some haters here, gonna have some harsh disagreements, more so than the last 2 series I reviewed. But let's get right into it. The second worst episode out of these, and like I said, we're ranking, 8 to 8.2, 8.3. These are still really excellent episodes, but I thought out of the 5 remaining episodes, episode 2 was a little weaker than the rest of them. It had to happen because it had to get us from introducing the TVA and meeting Mobius and meeting some of these other characters into who Sylvie was and where she was at, and had to get us to her. So as far as pacing and story and jumping from timeline to timeline, it was great. The Pompeii scene in that episode was fantastic. But if I'm having to rank it against the other episodes, it was not as great to me as some of the other episodes. Again, very dialogue heavy. A lot of things, especially with Loki talking about where the apocalypse situations were in the salad with the salt and the pepper, was a really funny moment. But beyond that, we didn't do a ton of world building other than just getting us from point A to point B. And so moving forward, you'll kind of see where I went with the rest of these episodes. right here, I guess I could flip-flop either one of these episodes. I know Tom Hiddleston said he loved episode 4, but I'm putting episode 4 just below episode 1. And I'll tell you why. Because episode 4, for all of its amazing things, I mean, episode 4, we got some Sylvie backstory. We got Sylvie and Loki arrested. We got Hunter B-15. We got Hunter B-15 kind of turning and twisting here and being shown her past. We got Mobius being pruned. We got Loki being pruned. We got the revelation of the timekeepers. Some of those things we already saw coming as far as the revelation of the timekeepers. It was a little more jarring and a little... if an episode can suffer from having so much packed into it that it was hard to process, it was the only thing that made it feel a little jumpy. It was an excellent episode. It was really exciting. I left the episode feeling fulfilled and excited and enjoyed it. But compared to episode 1, just the entry into the TVA and the back and forth between Mobius and Loki, him walking through the TVA being processed, was interesting. It was mysterious. And that episode has the benefit of being the very first episode of the series. And so episode 4 was a lot to take in. But they're both, I mean, if I had to tie them, they'd be tied. But if I'm having to rank them, we're going to go 3, 2, 4, episode 1. And then my favorite 2 episodes, episode 6 and then episode 5, as 5 being the best episode of the series. Episode 6 was fantastic. Jonathan Majors was amazing. The acting in that episode was fantastic. The actress that plays Ravonna, Gugu Mbatha Raw, up until that point, she's an amazing actress, but some of the other stuff I've seen her in, I thought, wow, they picked a really amazing actress, a really talented actress, and her character's been kind of bland. But her interaction with Mobius in her office in episode 6, where she gets angry, where she kind of jumps a little bit, where she gets to show her true colors and she's not just kind of a loyal member of the TVA state, really showcased her talent and her ability, and it really made those scenes pop. Jonathan Majors, again, I was not expecting him in that episode, so that twist was really awesome. And then getting his exposition and his back and forth and the fight between the desire to have free will but also have to deal with all the demons and the consequences that go along with that, and also the idea that maybe it's okay to give up some freedoms and sacrifice things for a little bit of safety. The back and forth there and a physical fight between Loki and Sylvie with the payoff of their relationship was really excellent. However, I think the disservice there is that it's a finale. They're having to wrap up all those things and give you some cliffhangers. Episode 5 in the series, it did set up, we had to get Loki and Mobius and some other people out of the void. We had to get Loki and Sylvie back together. But the way they did it, being able to see this void place, introducing a character as crazy and as weird as Eliath, who is in the comics, and they did an excellent job with, and then all these different Lokis, and then playing off of that and the conversations back and forth, fit a lot of the things that happened in episode 1, where Loki was kind of being rehabilitated. Another reason why I think episode 1 was so great is because we had to get from Avengers Loki, who was bent on destruction and not really a good guy, to the version of Loki that we love from the end of Thor Ragnarok and the beginning of Infinity War. So episode 1 was a little bit of villain rehab, where he quickly became the version that we know and love. And so getting some of that payoff in episode 5 as well, those themes connecting, Mobius and Loki connecting, just all those different things. I thought that episode was very risk-taking, it was very exciting, it was very different and weird and crazy, but it still had that Marvel vibe, was fantastic. And I'm also a sucker for Easter eggs, so the crazy amount of Easter eggs in that episode made me super happy and super excited. So there's my list of episode rankings. I am pretty sure that these are contentious and people are going to disagree with me. This is how I liked the show, but again, episode 3, easily the worst episode for me as far as acting, plot, pacing, everything. And then the other episodes, we're talking about ranking things on a very small scale. I thought the lowest ranking for one of those episodes would have to be an 8.5, and then the rest of them are low 9s, high 9s. Don't really know what a perfect episode would look like, but these episodes are fantastic. Episode 5 I could watch over and over again, and it was really great. Episode 6 I'm more watching over and over again to get the story and the idea, because there was so much to unpack in that episode. But that's where I went with those episodes. Now, where does Loki rank with regards to the other Disney Plus series? This was even more difficult for me. All 3 have their high moments. When it comes to finales, I think WandaVision's was the weakest. The reveal of Agatha was probably the high point of the WandaVision series, especially because we got that awesome song. The finale there was an excellent episode, but the misdirections the entire show, the who's in charge and who's doing what, was so heavy that when you got to the finale, it felt like a little bit of a letdown. The high points there was the bonus scenes, really, is White Vision and his fight, and then Monica being contacted by a Skrull. Like, some of those things were great, but as far as a finale goes, WandaVision was the weakest there. Sam being in his Captain America costume for the first time was a huge moment. That finale was action-packed, had a lot in it. I think it wrapped things up a lot better. It was a really exciting episode. And so as far as finales go, I enjoyed the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale better than I did the Loki finale. But if I had to rank those, it would be WandaVision, Loki, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Those are just based off finales. As far as pacing and plot goes, the overall goal of the show, I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a little better than WandaVision there, because the pacing, the plot, the overall goal of the story, it was a slow burn, but the overall story and everything that happened felt a little better and had a better payoff than WandaVision did. WandaVision started off really slow with episodes 1 and 2, and then built really quickly and really heavily after that. The decade shifts, I think, were exciting and fun and added the mystery, but it was a little jarring. And so Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a little better than WandaVision there, but then Loki, for pacing, plot, overall goal, I thought was better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Even though the payoff was different, I did not mind the dialogue heaviness of Loki, except for episode 3 that kind of stalled out a little bit. Everything picked back up in a very even pace, so it didn't. You couldn't pull that episode out and have the series, but it just didn't fit the way the rest of them did, even though it was necessary. So as far as plot, pacing, overall goal, WandaVision at the bottom again, Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Loki at the top on that one. As far as acting is concerned, I think Loki over Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The acting in Loki was really great. They joked a lot about Bucky's constant staring in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The acting was still great, and I loved getting to explore those characters even more. But compared to Loki, the acting and the depth that was displayed over and over and over again was way better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think this is where WandaVision beat out both of these two series easily. If only, but not only, if only because the actors in WandaVision had to adapt to multiple different decades because of the way the show was set up. And then getting characters like Ralph, who was also Wanda's brother, who was also, who knows what, Wanda having to act like she doesn't know what's going on, and then her whole grief episode there near the end, those were fantastic. Vision, Paul Bettany's acting in some of those episodes was fantastic as well. And then all of the co-stars in that series having to act mysterious and act in different decades and those kind of things. You had a bigger supporting cast in that show as well, and so they all really worked well together. And so the acting in WandaVision, I think, was far superior because of those things than Loki, but I think Loki was better than Falcon and Winter Soldier. So with all those things being said, where do these shows rank? I think the downside of WandaVision for me is that it was such a small space, a small setting. There was so much misdirection that by the time we got to the end, the ending was a little weaker, so it did fall a little flat compared to the other series, but visually stunning, amazing story. I loved it the whole way through. Again, we're ranking on a 9 scale here. I think WandaVision was excellent. It was a 9 for me, but I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was just a little bit better because it was a larger scope. It felt more consistent. WandaVision's first 2 episodes were a little slow, a little hard to get into. I'm glad Disney released them together, but it was a little slow. Then with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you got to go all these different places. Madripoor was an excellent world-building episode to get to see something different outside of that world, but get to do something interesting with it. Pulling in Sharon Carter, pulling in all of these different elements, and then dealing with cultural issues in a very honest way, but not so heavy-handed that it just overwhelmed the episode. You still got to enjoy the MCU without feeling like you were getting lectured at. Even though I think the topics that they dealt with are important and timely and necessary, they did it in a way that was still able for it to be escapist fare and for it to be enjoyable as just a TV series. But Loki, in a lot of ways, surpassed both of those shows because the acting was on point the entire time. Even though I think WandaVision outdoes it in some areas, the acting was fantastic. The great storytelling, the risk-taking that they took in Loki to do some of the weird, crazy things. The story kind of drove that, so it was easier to do, especially in a place like the Void where nothing matters. You could do some of those crazy things and have a lot of fun with it. But the risk-taking there, and then the implications of what happened in Loki beyond that were fantastic as well. And so having all of those things and then using the original content from the comics in a way that was innovative and unique, and then tackling some of those crazier elements like multiple Lokis, multiple realities, a character like Alioth. Some of those things were really crazy. I said Alioth, didn't I? Alioth. Depending on who you talk to. Add that in the comments. How do you say it? I have to rank Loki as probably the best Disney Plus series of the MCU thus far. As we wrap up here, many of you guys liked, subscribed, and commented on the last 2 videos during our giveaway portion. Thank you so much for that. But there can only be one winner, and that winner is Ryan Stouter. Congratulations, man. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing and watching our videos. Ryan's going to be getting some Loki Funko Pop characters in the mail. And you can win too. Just subscribe to our channel and watch the rest of our episode videos. As more things come out, we'll do more giveaways, and you have an opportunity to win some pretty cool swag as well. Both Miss Marvel and Hawkeye were confirmed for 2021 releases this week, and so we're going to get those before the end of the year. And then Shang-Chi, The Eternals, and Spider-Man No Way Home are also coming in September, November, and December of this year. So there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. We'll also be reviewing the What If series that drops sometime in August. There's a lot more content coming in the next few weeks, and I'm really excited about that. As far as our predictions are concerned, our prediction ratio was up in the 80% range for this show as well. Didn't want to break this one down as much as far as what do we get right and what do we not get right. Sometimes we give you a, hey, we made these predictions and here's how accurate we were. There's a lot of stuff that had to be generic in this series because it was so outlandish. And so some of the things I kind of weighted and I said, well, it's not really that important. So it wasn't really as bold a prediction, but some of the bold predictions, we predicted Immortus and correctly, not just Kang, but that version of Kang correctly in the finale. There were several other things that we predicted correctly, but some of those things were only really, in my mind, predicted correctly because it kind of fit a narrative theme and a plot thread rather than, I think this is what's going to happen. So if you kind of take all those things, what we got right, what we got wrong, we were still sitting in the 75 to 80% range of what we predicted as to what we got right. So Tell us what you guys think about the series as a whole. I'm sure you got your own theories and ideas about which episodes and series were the best. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out, being a part of our giveaway. Please continue to watch. As always, like and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching the after credits scene.